What you did there was nothing more than a waste of time. As the ambassador makes his way towards one of the alleys leading out of the main street, Kane manages to send 2 icicles his way, but they are easily blocked by the small barrier made by the captain. As the ambassador eventually manages to get away from us, the retreat to his safety. Now then, the captain says to us, once he confirms that the master is no longer in danger, I think I'm done taking risks with you. I will finish you all now. He then slowly begins to amplify the pressure on top of us, trying to squish us to death. I've been trying to avoid this technique lately because of the huge strain it places on my frail old body, the captain tells us, but even if this puts me out of commission for a whole week, it will be worth it. There will be no more tricks to save you this time. The only thing left for you to do is lie there quietly and accept your deaths with dignity. The strong, invisible force above us is getting stronger with each passing moment. The pain is becoming more and more unbearable to the point that most of us have already just given up on trying to keep quiet and are now just screaming our lungs out. Premonition check failed. After enduring the pain for a while longer, I suddenly feel the pressure above me disappear as the captain seems to experience a very strong headache. When he realizes he has lost control of his aura technique, he tries to push us down again, but he can't make the invisible force strong enough to pin us to the ground anymore, so he eventually gives up making a barrier in front of him. A headache, Darren says as he eventually... Oh, probably killed him. Used his special technique. A headache, Darren says as he gradually starting to panic. Kelrim, please don't tell me that you cast the risky spell you told us about earlier. Kelrim? I'm sorry, Luna says with a serious look in his eyes as she seems to have just finished taking the pulse of the captain, who is now laying on the ground motionless. He's dead. Holy shit, on our main story, a character actually died. That's unfortunate. Look in her eyes, she seems to have just finished. Yeah, he's dead. Darren, Kate says, when she sees the pained expression on Darren's face as he looks at his friend's lifeless body. I know that this must be very difficult for you, but our battle is still not over. We can't afford to let our emotions... I know, Darren says simply as he makes visible effort to regain his composure. Then he gets up from the ground, facing the captain of the guards directly. I will make a rush for the captain. Try to cover as much as you can. Okay, Kate says, and she begins to shooting a few icicles towards the captain, which are easily blocked by his barrier. I then start firing my crossbow at him as well, while Flower and Luna send their own projectile towards him. It is clear that Kate and Luna have both used up most of the magical energy by now, because their attacks are significantly bigger than they were before. Flower, on the other hand, seems to have been a little bit more careful with the energy spending because the magic is just as strong as it was in the beginning. As if we were providing him the cover we requested, Darren rushes towards the captain, stretching his left arm in front of him while making his sword fly away from the royal guard leader into his hand. Darren gets close. The captain puts both his hands in front of him and he pushes his enemy back with the invisible force, not letting him advance any further. But what I can tell, the captain's headache is mostly gone by now, but he still looks really tired from all the techniques he used up to this point. So he's expending quite a bit of effort just trying to keep Darren away from him. Darren, could you please remind me if your armor has fire protection on it or not? Flower says, as Darren is still being pushed by the captain of the guards. Yes, it does, Darren answers her. But why do you? Perfect, Flower says. Then we see a large Varan made completely out of flames flying down and grabbing Darren into his claws. The Varan then soars into the sky, holding tightly onto Darren as it advances rapidly towards the captain. Don't worry, Flower shouts after Darren. The flames have been properly solidified with reinforcement magic, so there is no danger of you being dropped by accident, probably. That's hilarious. Just like before, the captain tries to push Darren away with invisible force, but his aura manipulation technique isn't strong enough to be able to keep both the healer and the fire Varan at a distance. When the Varan is seconds away from reaching its target, the captain once again takes the posture of swordsman, looking as if he were holding an invisible blade with both his hands. As he swings his sword, we can see the weapon's outline shining from the sun's light when Darren puts his shield to the side, preparing to defend himself. The captain does not aim for Darren, however. He cuts the Varan in half with one strike. As Darren is dropped by the flame creature and lands right beside his enemy. The captain quickly attempts to use his semi-invisible blade to kill his opponent, but by this point it is clear that he is too exhausted to keep his weapon materialized properly. His weakened aura and sword is no match for Darren's enchanted blade, which cuts through it in an instant and beheads its wielder in the same movement. As the captain's headless body falls into a puddle of his own blood, Darren sheaths his sword and returns to us. I thought he was going to take a bit more of a time to go like, finally, or something like that. The captain is dead, Darren says. Let's finish off the rest. The captain died, Gontok shouts from a distance as he almost forgets to void one of Hardrick's punches from the shock. Well, I guess this calls for a tactical retreat then. Do you seriously think we'll let you escape? Hardrick says he is now doubling the speed of his attacks. You're acting as if I were asking for your permission, Gontok says. Rest assured, we are going to be teleported out of here, whether you like it or not. You better not be doing what I think you're doing, Gontok. We hear the same voice that talked to the air limitless elf before, echoing all around us, once again making it impossible for us to tell where it's coming from. The Royal Guard's portable teleportation devices are only to be used when the king is in danger. Oh yeah? Gontok says as he seems to be fiddling with a device that is hidden underneath his Royal Guard uniform below his neck when he keeps dashing away from Hardrick to dodge his attack. Well, that didn't seem to stop the king from teleporting us on a whim last time, despite not being in any danger at all, did it? If the king can freely misuse these devices, then so can I. We are not retreating, you coward, the voice says. You will stay here and avenge your fallen captain. Now, how about you actually avenge your captain instead of hiding like a wimp? That's not gonna work with something like that. Can't you just use your own teleportation device to cancel what Gontok's doing? Yeah, don't be a coward, stay here and fight like a man. Yeah, that's not gonna work. None of these are gonna work. None of these. Yeah, he's going to teleport out of here. There's really no point. I'm guessing this voice is the Earth Elementalist, maybe? I highly doubt it, but whatever. Can't you use your own teleporting device to cancel what Gontok's doing? He can't cancel anything. Gontok shouts as he continues to operate his device blindly while he fights. He's really good. The captain was the only one who could do that, and now he's dead. That means I can do whatever I want. Gontok, I will warn you one last time, the voice says in a menacing tone. Do not tamper with that device any further. Or what? Gontok says, you'll cast an illusion at me? No, the voice says. What I will do is... Too late, Gontok says, and he taps the device with his whole hand, making a sudden white light appear around all the surviving royal guards. You will pay for this, you fool, the voice says, as you see white light through the windows of one of the houses, which is probably where our mystery mage had been hiding the whole time. We'll see about that, Gontok says. Ah, crap. Hardrick says that he tries to land one last punch before Gontok and the other royal guards got teleported safely away from us. As I look at the sky, I notice that there are only about 5 medium-sized boulders floating in the air right now. Despite all of the time the Earth Elementals had to make much more of them. I guess he didn't have much magical energy left after creating those hundreds of boulders from before, huh? Watch out for the boulders, as I say, they'll be falling down soon now that the Earth Elementalists are teleported away. I'll take care of them, Flower says. She then flies closer with her fire just to get closer to the rocks. The boulders are already falling by the time she reaches them, but she blasts them into pieces with a few well-placed fireballs. She then returns to us victorious, while Darren defends us from the incoming debris from his shield's barrier. Is it finally over? Layla writes as she looks around us. Are they all gone now? If you're asking about the royal guards, then yes. Kelram died. That's unfortunate. Hopefully you can save him in the main one. If the royal guards are gone, then maybe our signal isn't being blocked anymore either, Darren says. Let's try teleporting back to the rebel base again. Oh, but first we should probably get a little closer together so the Barry from the teleporter room can get a better lock onto our signal. But we've all assembled in the same spot, including Hardrick, who is back in his dwarf form. Darren takes out his transceiver to call the teleporter guy. Hey Barry, can you hear us? Darren asks after he taps his receiver. Yes, I could hear you the last time you called me too, Darren, the teleporter guy says. You were the ones who couldn't hear me what I was saying for some reason. Well, we can hear you now, Darren says. With a little luck, maybe this means that our signal is no longer being blocked. Pardon me for asking, but the last time you guys, I heard you heard you talking about the royal guards having surrounded you, the teleporter guy says. It doesn't look like you're in battle anymore, so what happened to the guards? The ones that survive use the teleportation devices to return to their king. Darren says Gontok forced them to retreat after we killed their captain. The captain of the royal guard is dead, the teleporter guy says, now sounding utterly shocked. Yeah, he's dead, Darren says. Now we can please try to teleport us back to the rebel base. Oh right, of course. Teleporter says, just give me a bit of time to lock onto your signals properly. You're just going to let the ambassador go then? Melindra says. Melindra asks us out of the blue. The ambassador, Darren says, looking as if he's still processing the information. Melindra says, Melindra just gave him. He's still here? Yes. The royal guards abandoned him when they teleported to the king. Remember? Melindra says, we're still hiding in the same abandoned house where the captain sent him to take shelter during the battle. Oh yeah, Hardrick says, now that you mention it, I think I can sense his aura too. He's not far from us. Well, let's kill him, I suppose. Let me save first, just in case. Let's go kill him. I'll go kill the ambassador really quick. I'm pretty sure that I know which house he's hiding. Barry, come on, we don't have time for this. I promise that it'll only take a minute. I say I'll run through one of the alleys with the crossbow in my hands. I'll be right back. Quickly make my way towards the ambassador, using my magical sense to pinpoint the exact location. While I finally reach the house he's in, I open the door. I see him standing in the corner, holding a knife with both his hands.